Hans from Thycotic, and just try to start here the presentation. Okay, let's press. Okay, anyway, so I just want to talk a little bit about cyber security, privileged account management, and how you can move on to 15 days for a better security concept with privileged account management and endpoint control. So while we are here, I don't have to tell you about these numbers. The goal is that the bad boys left out of the company, and it's to make it as hard as possible for them to get here any of these accounts. And for this, I've just prepared a little bit example of that. So let's think about the organization where we have a user account in IT administrator and have the additional domain account, SQL database, whatever you can think about. And let's think about how an organization gets breached. So, of course, the attacker will use the least secured stuff. That's the user account. User accounts can be stolen, can be breached, can be attacked, whatever. And from there, after this has been breached, we are going to move forward to the IT administrator account. Somehow the hacker will get it. And from there, getting here also breaching the privileged accounts to gain then access to the domain server, to the web servers, to the databases, just to see here then what's going on, to get the data out. And if you just point here on this way, you'll see the IT requests and management costs will just here dramatically rise. And how can we now avoid this scenario, which is pretty common to you all? That's something when we help to prevent here with secret server and with privileged manager here these attacks by securing the passwords of privileged accounts, of course, and also here protecting the endpoints, which are then here where we can control the access, who is going to access what. So on secret server, we are going here to put a secure solution in the middle of the users and on the other side, the endpoints, the servers, the targets. First of all, this solution then is capable to split about these roles which we are going to use here for the user. One admin might be just here responsible for Windows servers. Another user is able to maintain applications and so on and so on. But role-based access is one point. The other is here quite important, the audit to certify the compliance about this. Who has done what? Who has done anything else? Which brings us here also into the monitoring part. We are able to see what happened here on the endpoint, not only for compliance, but also for disaster recovery. Think about the following process. An administrator is going to do something on the system, and now the system crashes. Nobody knows why. Nobody really has any idea about what happened to this one. And with a recording, with session recording, session monitoring, now you are in a position to see what happened step by step, to see, okay, at that point something went wrong, we have to revert back to that in that stage, so we can move on from that on. That's one part of it. Needless to say, secure access is also here about two-factor authentication, which the system is also to provide here, that really you're getting here to the least principle, best practices. You have something you know, and you have something you possess. And how this would look like is just to give you a view here on two screenshots. Within the system, there is a role-based access. The user then just only sees what he is used to see. He can use only what he is used to use, and the other information is still far away from him. He cannot see it, he cannot tamper it, he can do nothing with this. And apart from that as well, just another quick screenshot here regarding auditing and regarding here the monitoring. What we are going to see here, here is just an audit, what happened to this specific privileged account. So who has asked for a permission, for instance, who has approved this permission, and what has been then done as well, what the recording has been done, which is here on the lower side of the screenshot. What has he taken into commands for this session here, and what was the reaction, respectively, what was the input and output during this session at all. So and that's how the access to privileged accounts is getting to be controlled. It's going to be here also proven that only the people who are using this should use it. But there's another part. I mentioned here the access to the servers, mentioned to the databases. So question you should ask yourself, why does a user have to have administrative access to a system? Why does not have the application or the command need to have this access right? The user is just somebody who is going to execute this command to achieve something on the system. And this is where Privileged Manager, the other part of the portfolio, will get into the game. So by identification of this application, let's say a snap-in for printer installation, or an SQL management studio, which needs to have here elevated admin rights. So after this application gets identified, so then the system will look for a policy which then fits to this specific application, and then will say, yes, user, you are the right one. You are going to get here, you are going to get here the right elevation for this application. You are allowed to do this now, regardless of your user or administrator rights. Meaning, a standard user will able to do here administrative tasks without having the administrative rights. And this is the important part of it, which is then also here on the next screenshot, just here the simple information. Yes, you can use this application now. You can install a new network card, but you have to say why you want to have that right now. So by the way, you can use just a comment or an approval itself, or if it's something which is not in your task at all, we are just simply getting to deny this application. And then with this case, so we are controlling about what happens on the target system, what happens on the server. Not only the user who is going, okay, I have the administrative rights, I'll do this, I'll do that, and next time I'll crash the system or I'll steal the data. So in this case, only the elevated rights for specific applications will do. And having said that, now let's see how now the organization will look like. So here we have our privileged account management secret server. The users only will see what they are allowed to see. They are only allowed to use what they only use what they are allowed to use. And with Privileged Manager now, we are getting here an IT administrator with basic user rights, but having the privileged account access, getting here onto these applications, then he gets here the administrative rights per application by checking, by controlling all these permissions by Privileged Manager. And having that, we are following now the least privilege principle. No rights to users, all rights to the applications. So, and most of the security vulnerabilities which are flying around today, looking for users who have administrative rights that they can here harm the system at all. And with this way, so we can mitigate it by just simply removing these rights. And with these two systems, as a conclusion then, Secret Server is going to automatically discover and take control of administrative accounts. And Privileged Manager is elevating individual applications with privileged access without elevating this to the user. And having said that, and in the beginning I have just here spoke about 15 days. Of course, there is another part on this 50-day tour, and this is a free trial. And for the free trial, I'll invite my colleague here, Ilaria Cella, just to talk a little bit about the trial itself.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Your commitment is great because being here at 6, we know that that means that you are very interested, and we thanks for this. So if you arrive here, first of all, I want to tell you one thing about me. I'm 100% made in Italy and proud to be. Based in UK, no one is perfect, and the regional director for Southern Europe and Turkey. I think that belongs to Southern Europe because we have got the same heart and soul. So if you are here, you are committed. I think that it was very valuable what my colleague Burkhard has explained, but you really want to test that everything we said is true. So I have a question for you, and my question to you is, how do you feel if you have got security is your priority, and at the end you have got a task to protect the reputation of your company and your reputation, and how long do you think that it will take to deploy a solution as we see? How long do you think that it will take?
I don't know, maybe months?
That's really good. That's really good to have this feedback, because I'm telling you that we are the only one that has got the privilege to say that 98% of our customers that are able to deploy the solution within 4 hours. So that means that when you have got the security is really your priority, you want to go and implement it today. You don't want to wait next year. So here are the deal. I want you to test the solution. So I will ask your business card. I will leave the business card that I have with me, and I will send you a trial, a free trial, so you can test the solution and you can really see that everything we said is correct. And also there is another thing, because to be honest with you, for me security is everything. Is everything for protecting the organization, but also our reputation. If something goes wrong and we are key people working security, that means that our own reputation is at risk, and we don't want this. So if you have got even a small budget, just speak about that, because sometimes there is a leftover, and that budget can protect your organization and your reputation, okay? I've said this because I'm sure that you all know what happened with Equifax. So basically, the US company, it was the biggest breach that there was, and I said, what is going to happen to the key people? And the executive people were fired the week after the breach was on the page of everything. So that's why we are here. Security is our priority. We want to have the world more secure. This is the fight we all fight. And yes, we are here for you. Thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you.